Struggle. It shapes us, defines us, and pushes us beyond our limits. It's not just pain, it's growth. Every setback, every fall, brings us closer to strength. Are you ready to embrace your struggle and rise? Let's dive into the journey of resilience and determination. In today's video, we will tell you a struggle life story of Arjun that make you think you must face struggle B for success. In a small village in India, a boy named Arjun was born into a poor family. His father was a farmer, struggling to make ends meet, and his mother worked as a maid in the town. Arjun grew up watching his parents work tirelessly, yet they barely had enough food to eat. He often went to bed hungry, dreaming of a life where his family wouldn't have to suffer. Despite their poverty, Arjun's parents always told him, "Education is your way out of this life." But Arjun's school was far from his home, and he had no proper books or shoes. He walked barefoot for miles every day, determined to learn. However, he wasn't the best student. He failed in most of his exams, and his teachers thought he wasn't smart enough. The villagers mocked him, calling him useless and a failure. One day, after failing his 10th grade exams, Arjun's father told him, "Maybe studies aren't for you. Work in the fields with me." That night, Arjun sat under a tree looking at the stars. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he thought, "Am I really a failure?" But deep inside, he refused to accept defeat. He decided to leave the village and go to the city to find a better future. His parents were hesitant, but seeing his determination, they gave him their blessings. With just a few rupees in his pocket and an old bag, Arjun set off on his journey. The city was overwhelming. Tall buildings, crowded streets, and people rushing everywhere. Arjun had no place to stay and no money for food. He took small jobs, washing dishes at a roadside stall, cleaning offices, and even selling newspapers. But no matter how hard he worked, he could barely afford to eat. One day, while selling newspapers at a railway station, he saw a huge banner: National Science Competition. Winner gets a scholarship. Arjun had always been fascinated by science, even though he never had proper books. He thought, "This is my chance." With no money to buy books, he started sneaking into a local library. He would sit there for hours, reading about physics and chemistry. But the competition was tough. He failed in his first attempt. People laughed at him, saying, "A village boy competing with city kids? Impossible." But Arjun didn't give up. He studied harder, learned from his mistakes, and tried again and again. He failed 5 times. Each time, the failure felt like a sharp knife cutting through his dreams. But he remembered his mother's words: "Failure is not the end, it is a lesson." On his 6th attempt, Arjun made it to the final round. The competition was fierce, and his hands trembled as he wrote his answers. When the results were announced, he closed his eyes, afraid to hear another failure. But then, he heard something unbelievable. He had won. Tears filled his eyes as he held the trophy. The scholarship meant he could finally afford to study in a good college. From there, Arjun's life changed. He worked even harder, studying day and night. He went on to win national and international science competitions, eventually earning a scholarship to one of the world's top universities. Years later, Arjun became one of the most brilliant scientists in the world. His research in renewable energy revolutionized the way people used electricity, and he was invited to speak at global conferences. The same villagers who once mocked him now celebrated him. The teachers who thought he was a failure now took pride in saying he was once their student. One evening, Arjun returned to his village, standing under the same tree where he had once cried after failing his exams. A group of young children surrounded him, eager to hear his story. He looked at them and said, "Failures do not define you. They are stepping stones to success. If I had given up after my first failure, I would still be here, struggling. But every time I failed, I learned something new. Failure is important in life. It teaches you, shapes you, and prepares you for success. His words inspired countless children, proving that no matter how poor or weak you are, if you believe in yourself and never give up, you can achieve the impossible. And that is how a poor village boy, once called a failure, became one of the most respected and admired people in the world. So friends, this is our today's video. If you like this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and see you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.